Assalamualaikum. Welcome to Member Spotlight by Anad Muslim Chamber of Business. MCOB is a membership-based social enterprise with a mission to create a thriving Muslim business community. It's the power of collective wisdom, continued learning, and thought leadership brought together for Muslims by Muslims. Our core belief is that business leaders thrive when they have access to a supportive community of peers who challenge and inspire each other. Today, we have with us our member, Mohammed Shehata. Mohammed is a dynamic business leader driving strategy, innovation, and growth across multiple industries. As CEO of Yalla Habibi, Mohammed curates distinctive travel experiences that immerse clients in the rich culture heartbeat of Egypt. With a focus on operational excellence and brand positioning, he has helped establish the company as a premium travel provider known for authentic culture immersion and elevated service standards. Welcome, Mohammed.
Assalamu alaikum. Thank you for having me.
Salam. So, share with us your story, how you started and where you are today.
Yeah, Jazakallah khair. Um, I guess I can start from the beginning. We had pretty humble beginnings. I am the son of an Egyptian immigrant. I was born and raised in a rural town in Iowa,
Okay.
uh, where, I was one of the only, Muslim or brown people in the area. And so we had
Mhm.
to kind of have a strong image and kind of self-image of who we are and what we represent. I went to Iowa State University and I ultimately graduated with my degree in architecture. And so I am currently or I was an architect, and I studied and practiced architecture for about 7 years in Madison, Wisconsin, until I was, let go from my position at the peak of COVID. We're told that, to be successful, you have to go to school and get good grades so you can go to a good college, and then you can get a good job, and that's how you get safety. And I realized that that's not really the case in corporate America. And if it's risky to start a business, and it's risky have a job, I might as well kind of risk it on myself. So it was around 2018 when I decided to go into entrepreneurship, and I probably failed at a dozen businesses before I kind of solidified myself to the ones that I currently have now. um, and subhanallah, architecture did teach me a lot, right? Architecture is a generalist major where
Mhm.
we're not a specialist in one specific thing, but you know enough about a number of different topics in order to have an educated conversation. And that is the same mentality that I took towards business and life in general. And so I currently own four businesses across four completely different industries, all of which things that I had zero knowledge about before I kind of entered. But really, my mantra in them has been to kind of create a sense of empowerment and giving others opportunities to do things that they didn't think that they would be able to before. And so with Cargo Champion, we have 40 plus drivers that have decided to step away from their 9 to 5 jobs to be able to be their own business owners, set their own hours, and drive. With Yalla Habibi, we've given people the opportunity to travel to countries that they've previously been scared of. Right, most of the countries that we target are in the Middle East, Morocco, Egypt, Palestine, Turkey, places that here in America we're always told are scary and difficult to go to.
Mhm.
Um, but through it, we've created kind of an informal way of dawah while also allowing people the opportunity to visit these beautiful countries. Um,
Okay. So, given you mentioned that you have four businesses right now, and you mentioned two of them. One is in the logistics, and the other one is in travel industry. Uh, Give us some timeline how you started and which one you started first, and from where you went to
yeah,
where.
yeah, that's a phenomenal question. Um, well, I guess um, after I left corporate America, I ended up taking a trip to Egypt, and I took a group of friends with me.
Okay.
Um, Most of them were non-Muslim American friends, and we went over experience Egypt, and I pretty much curated the trip. So using my background of obviously being Egyptian and knowing the area, in conjunction with my architectural knowledge, I used those skills to kind of curate a trip for us. And I just like hosting, to be completely honest. It was never something that I meant to like turn into a business, but they
Okay.
really enjoyed themselves. And I found myself really passionate about seeing the culture shock on their face, right? Like being able to create this experience for them, um,
Mm-hmm.
to experience. And it turned into a phenomenal trip. And I thought, well, you know what, if I can do this for them, i
Mm-hmm.
can I can do it for anyone that's really interested. And that's really where Yalla Habibi came to fruition. And so since then we've taken over 100 people to the countries that I listed. um, and it's really been something that's been taken off. However, Yalla Habibi it's a seasonal thing, right? Not traveling year round, and so in
Mm-hmm.
my downtime, I was always trying to find the next thing, right? And
Mm-hmm.
so I tried e-commerce, I tried drop shipping, we tried, you know, crypto and trading and up and down, and you know, ultimately came upon the next endeavor, which is Little Stars Child Care Center. So I own an Islamic based child care center in Cedar Falls, Iowa. It's a nonprofit organization based off of its sister nonprofit, which is the Islamic Foundation of Iowa. And so that was something that kind of my family had been working on, and I found myself having the managerial skills to be able to take it over, and we've been growing it. And so, you know, ironically, this was one of the first buildings that I actually designed. So I designed the building, and now I'm currently the CEO of the building, alhamdulillah. But we serve 35 underprivileged families that otherwise wouldn't be able to kind of afford childcare,
Mm-hmm.
to give parents the opportunity to have jobs while also teaching their children through a Montessori system. Um,
Okay.
and so, from there, I kind of created systems in order to be able for the company to run itself, without much, effort on my part, and it was kind of on to the next thing. I kind of developed an addiction to starting businesses and creating, systems to be able to make things run. And I had somebody approach me with the opportunity to go into logistics, which is something I absolutely knew nothing about, but I appreciated the challenge. And so I kind of dove into it head first.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it took us about, subhanAllah, 6 months to win our first driver and to win our first load. But since then, it's been open for, you know, almost 3.5 years. We've broken the 1 million mark in revenue. We have 40 drivers. We have, an internal team of 8, and we're looking to double in the next year or so. Um, and then, just very recently, because I didn't have enough to do, my family wanted to start a shawarma business.
Mm-hmm.
And so we opened just a small food truck, and this was also in Iowa. And subhanallah, obviously there's no such thing as shawarma in Iowa. And so people really, they leaned into it. The people really loved the food, they loved the taste, they loved the flavor. Um, and similarly to what I had done at Cargo Champion, is being able to find a way to empower people. The idea for Spice of Egypt, which is the shawarma business,
Mm-hmm.
kind of grew. So we would like to become um, the first Egyptian shawarma food truck franchise, giving other people the opportunity to become business owners and open up all across the United States. But that's a couple of years into the future, but one
Okay.
can dream. Yeah.
No, that's definitely good, and thank you for sharing your journey and how you stumbled upon a business or you started that business. I'm just curious. You mentioned about the identity growing
Yes.
up in Iowa and as the only brown person there or a Muslim there. How
Yep.
much of it impacted what you are doing today?
Yeah, that's a really good question. Um, it 100% all of it, right? It became who I was. Subhanallah. I was in, I believe I was in third or fourth grade when September 11th happened. I was in a classroom, and I had a group of friends and things like that. But after that day, things in Iowa kind of shifted, right? A lot of the friends that I was friends with, they were told that they're no longer allowed to be friends with me, and my father, alhamdulillah, may Allah bless him, did a phenomenal job explaining, to us what our position is as Muslims, and how we have to carry ourselves. And so, at a very young age, I became a liaison to Islam and a liaison to Egyptians. Everything that I did, that's what Muslim people do, right? Everything that I did, that's what Egyptian people do. And so we had to be that much more eloquent, that much smarter, that much nicer to everyone, that much more amicable, because all eyes are on us. And that really paved, I think, the path for me, to try to be a leader,
Mm-hmm.
um, because it was something that was ingrained in me from the beginning, something that our father had taught us, and a way that we live our life. This is probably the strongest form of dawah, right? Rather than going out and preaching Islam, you just have to be a decent person. You move with empathy and service leadership, and people will see how you are.
Yeah, no, definitely, definitely. I would fully agree with you. So, in the last 5 years, many things changed for you in terms of business and leaving the corporate side and starting these businesses. What's ahead of you in the next 2 to 3 years? Where do you see yourself with these multiple businesses that you are running?
Yeah, I think that's a good question. These past couple of years have been building foundation, right? Inshallah, year 2026 is about growth.
Hmm.
And so all of the systems are in place for all these businesses, and really what we want to do is just grow and accelerate in all of them.
Hmm.
It means not doing, anything crazy, just continuing to do the same thing in each business, and slowly building. So in Cargo Champion, that means doubling the number of drivers we have and doubling our internal team, working to provide phenomenal service for our customers, our brokers, develop more relationships,
Hmm.
and be a significant name in the cargo and sprinter logistics world in the United States and Canada. For Yalla
Related
Habibi,
cargo, are you restricted to a geographic area or you're nationwide?
we are nationwide. Technically, we are an international carrier. We do have the ability to do loads in Canada as well.
Okay.
But majority of our loads, operate in all 48 states of the United States.
Okay. All
Yep.
right.
Yeah, that's a good question. In terms of the rest of the businesses, that means, you know, just general growth. Yalla Habibi, I would like to. It took us about 5 years to take 100 people to
Hmm.
these beautiful countries. I'd like to take 100 people this year, um, to
How many
Egypt. Just
tours are you taking in a year, in any given year?
Yeah, so it's about four. We do about four trips to
Okay.
that we take on these all inclusive 7 to 10 day trips. And so, I pretty much curate everything, and
Hmm.
it's their job to purchase the ticket, and it's my job to take care of you from the moment you step off the plane until our journey concludes. So that includes
Great.
everything from ground transportation, hotels, accommodations, all
Hmm.
of the tickets, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. All you have to do when you show up is really turn your brain off and just enjoy yourself. So, inshallah, we're planning on going to Jerusalem in April. Of course, the events that are going on in the world in the past couple of days may affect that, but if anything, it'll just slightly push it back. They won't be completely canceled, and then we have one in Egypt directly following it as well. And so most of our trips will do 2 trips in the fall, 2 trips in the spring, and then potentially one trip at on New Year's, right? So
Okay.
between December 24th and January 4th is usually when our final trip of the year is.
Okay, all right. And if
Yeah.
somebody is interested in reaching out to you, they can go to your website. It's in the ticker there, traveled with Shehata.com.
Yep. Yeah. Or you can find us on Instagram, yallahabibi.inc.
Okay.
Both are acceptable ways to find us, inshallah.
Okay, perfect. So, just last question. I'm curious. You're running four businesses, and you have family and other things to take care of. What are your interests and hobbies outside of work?
Yeah. I love spending time with my family. I love playing soccer, and I love pouring into other people. And so, being able to share my story, how I am with you right now, showing other people how I started businesses and helping them do it as well, is a real passion project of mine. And so, but with my architectural background, I still enjoy building models, and
Hmm.
so I will kind of build models and just tinker with things in my spare time, but that's usually how I spend it.
Okay, all right. Thank
Yeah,
you, Mohammed, for being here today and joining MCOB as our esteemed member. Looking forward to seeing your growth and being having you on this journey.
thank you, Kashif. It was a pleasure to meet you.
All right. Thank you. Assalamualaikum.
Yeah, Allah alaikum assalam.